Hi guys, and welcome to episode 20 of the Breeze and Bants Podcast. We are here today. It's Big Joshy J and Jamie B. We've had a right laugh before recording today. It's been
jokes.
Trying to set this up. We've got a new camera. We're not in the new studio. That'll be in 2 weeks, but we've got a new camera. It's just a bloody nightmare to set it up.
It's been a hell of a ride. It's been a lot of YouTubing and a lot of...
Apparently this camera could die at any point. Anyway, it's got full battery at the minute. The only time camera batteries go so fast is if there's a ghost involved, because they drain the camera battery. See what
the fuck?
I see it online all the time. Why have we got the giggles? I don't know. Right, let's get serious.
It's episode 20.
It's episode 20. It's been plenty. We're still
We're not doing any facts today, by the way,
yeah,
guys.
no facts. We're just
going straight into
it. We want to get serious.
I'm going to try and speak a bit more because I don't speak enough.
Yeah, basically, I've had to have a word and be like, oi, mate. Nah, I'm joking.
If you don't do it again, Jamie, you're fired.
You're fired. You're out. It's my show. My show. No, I'm joking. It's our show. But yeah, new studio soon, so we're excited about that.
Literally 2 weeks today.
Literally 2 weeks today. I'm moving, so we'll have to just bish bosh. But anyway, less of that. My week. How's your week? Tell me, how's your week been?
It's been all right. To be fair, I've been working quite far away. To be fair, I've been a bit Wolverhampton.
Bit of Wolvie,
well,
bit
actually,
of Wolvie.
Dudley.
Bit of Dudley.
And then I went to Leicester, back in Leicester tomorrow.
Oh, lovely.
But
lovely.
yeah, it's been all right, not too bad. I've been doing a bit of wallpapering today.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah, I'm sick of wallpapering, by the way. So hit me up for all your wallpapering needs at www.
Breeze and Bants, UK.
Yeah,
we're going multi-talented. He's a DJ, he can wallpaper, and he can near enough talk into the mic. Good signs. Hold tight. Yep, I got a new puppy. It's terrorised my life for the past few days. I literally, Tuesday, got back from work. My missus was like, oh, that puppy's cute. I was like, get in the car. So we drove to Wales, picked up a puppy. Now I have a puppy and an 11-month-old child.
You went to Abergavenny,
I went to Abergavenny, but... Yeah, so that's sort of basically my week has been. I've just been being terrorised by a dog, doesn't want to sleep, any of this, but I'm excited to move house. There we go. Let's get into shit today.
So
today
we've chosen.
It's
one that we wanted to like go over like we normally
dip in our toes
with certain things, and these certain things today is
serial killers. Serial killers. Well, not all serial killers. We've selected four? We've selected 4 to talk about, and we're not going to jump deep on them, but we're gonna
touch and go and give our thoughts.
We're gonna go shallow like Ted Bundy's graves, and not deep like Dahmer did into his victims. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it feels like a little Dahmer setup in here. We've got the camera going, like just like, hey dude, hey man, do you mind if I take some photos? So yeah, that is 2 of the lucky guests we're going to talk about today. The lucky and amazing. So yeah, we have written down a lot of show notes today. So boom. So today we are going to explore some tales and chilling the adventure. Oh, we should just call it The Adventures of and start like a TV show. It'd be great. Anyway, we're going to talk about Dahmer, Ted Bundy, Albert Fish, which not a lot of people have heard about. Jamie hadn't heard about until about 2 days ago.
Yeah,
and the British Bowlake Bellend bastard Ian Huntley. So yeah, Jamie, start us off on Dahmer.
Jeffrey Dahmer was born May the 21st in 1960 in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Despite a seemingly normal childhood, there were early signs of troubling behavior. He developed a fascination with collecting animal carcasses and showed an interest in dissection.
Yeah, so again with that as well, before we get on, that's quite a common thing.
I know.
Like they all kill animals.
Yeah.
Like every one of them. They either get their dick hit by their mum or they kill animals, and then it's like boom, you're a serial killer.
Yeah, they've either had a trauma childhood.
Yeah.
Been fingered by their dad.
Yeah, but we'll get on to like other people, but like most of them do. But the cases that haven't, you're like, why?
Yeah,
you know.
I have noticed like that when I was like looking at shit today.
It's crazy. So yeah, things took a turn for worse when Dahmer's parents divorced during his teenage years, which had a significant impact on his emotional well-being. These early experiences would later contribute to his descent into darkness.
Dahmer's modus operandi was chillingly calculated. He would lure young men to his apartment under false pretenses, offering them money, alcohol, or companionship.
Once inside his apartment, Dahmer would drug his victims with a mixture of alcohol and sedatives, rendering them unconscious. This allowed him to engage in acts of sexual assault, murder, and dismemberment.
Perhaps one of the most disturbing aspects of Dahmer's crimes was his fascination with necrophilia and cannibalism. He would preserve body parts and engage in acts of necrophilia with the remains of his victims, which is that's fucking
hot.
nuts.
Oh,
that is fucked.
yeah.
Up.
You can see the pictures on
I
Reddit
know.
as well. I've looked them up. Not my proudest wank, but you know, it's truly chilling. So Dahmer later admitted to consuming some of his victims' flesh, describing it as a way to maintain a sense of control of the possessions over him, because he believed he was possessed as well.
Did it?
Which was weird. So yeah, like obviously a lot of the information we've gathered is all online, factual, but when you watch the Dahmer series on Netflix as well, like the scenes are fucking mate. He's a psychopath.
Despite the gruesome nature of his crimes, Dahmer managed to evade detection for a significant period of time. He was able to blend in with society, presenting himself as a law-abiding citizen.
Which is also another amazing film, Law Abiding Citizen.
Fucking, that is a banger.
Fucking, when that first came out, it was so
I watched that on
sick.
repeat.
Oh, it was so good.
many times.
There's not many films like that are just so good you can watch them over and over.
Nah.
Like, but I would probably watch the Dahmer documentary over and over.
I have, yeah.
It's so good. It's so good. So there were several instances of near discovery, including an incident where a victim managed to escape but was returned to Dahmer's apartment by the police, resulting in that victim's eventual murder. Now, touching on that, because that's in the show as well.
That is, yeah.
Like, because he was black. Essentially, it was because he was black. This was in...
He was a young nigga.
Yeah,
like 14,
yeah.
Was he 14, wasn't he? I think
Yeah,
it was.
so a lot of shit happened, like, back then, you would say, like, because of the time, because there was a lot of racism about, especially in the police force, right? So when it comes to his victims, because a lot of them were, like, you know, culture of colour and stuff like this, it was... The police didn't really give a fuck, which is completely wrong. And, you know, we'll get to it, but even his final victim, they sort of... The white people in the neighbourhood had to sort of push the police to, like, act there and then. It was really weird.
Yeah.
Like,
I know, it was like that fucking poor lad though. That because them police got fucking done as well, didn't they?
Yeah, so they fucking
got,
should.
They got
So they should.
suspended.
Yeah.
But then they were let back after? Am I thinking of something else? Because I'm sure I've literally watched Dahmer this week.
I can't remember.
Anyway, in July 1991, Dahmer's crimes finally came to light when one of his intended victims, Tracy Edwards, managed to escape and seek help from the police.
Now, Tracy was a man, by the way. Obviously, it's a unisex name, so I just want to put it out there. All of his victims were male. He was a gay man. Which, again, a lot of people use that as like a stick to beat him with. And his victims, again, they were black and gay. And back then it was like, no, we don't give a fuck, you know? Which is wrong. So Edwards led the police officers to Dahmer's apartment, where they discovered photographs of dismembered bodies and evidence of his gruesome acts. Dahmer was arrested and charged with multiple counts of murder, sexual assault and other related crimes.
During his trial, Dahmer pleaded guilty but insane. However, he was ultimately found guilty and sentenced to 16 consecutive life terms in prison. It was a relief for the victims' families to see justice served, because he got 900 years.
Oh, it's ridiculous. Like, the problem is they just got to say life. If you ask me, like, what's the point of saying 900 years? Like, just say you're in there till you're dead, mate. Yeah. See you later.
But I'm guessing he didn't get a death penalty because it wasn't in that
state.
Yeah,
I assume so. Yeah, it's
America's
so weird because state to state is so different, right? So Dahmer's life in prison was also cut short. So in November 1994, when he was murdered by another inmate, Christopher Scarver, while working in the prison gym, Scarver beat Dahmer to death with a metal bar. Now, that scene on Netflix was fucking brilliant. Savage. And I will say the actor who played Dahmer, impeccable.
He was fucking awesome.
I forgot his name.
Yeah, because he's in other shit as well.
Yeah, he's in a lot of the... Oh, what are those fucking... They're like horror-y sort of things on Netflix. It's usually about the house. Haunting the Hill House? No, is it that one? Yeah, something like that.
Haunting Manor,
yeah.
It was a shocking end to a disturbing chapter in criminal history. Dahmer's case raises important questions about the complexities of human behaviour and the need for early intervention and mental health support.
Yeah, I mean, the case of Dahmer serves as a reminder, like, of importance of, like, effective. It shows how we need to look at things in a sense of the people, because of the people they were, because they were black, gay, and all of this. The police really neglected it.
Yeah,
and it's like, if that was now, like, it would never go that way, because the police would actually look at it properly. You know, the homophobia and racism back then was rife.
Yeah.
Like, and he, as much as it's shit to say, it was like perfect for him. As much as, like, as horrible, it's like when people talk about Hitler. I know that they like, oh, Hitler's a bad person, all of this, but he was really good at what he did, and so was Dahmer. As horrible as it is to say, like, at what he did, although it was heinous and disgusting, he was very fucking good at it. And he was so lucky as well.
Who's that?
Dahmer. He was so lucky. The amount of times he he was in the military. He did some weird shit in the military. He took the mannequin and slept with the mannequin.
Yeah, that was weird.
So,
and like his nan kept coming downstairs when he was fucking
the smell
destroying the body.
So
yeah, that's what I don't like. The smell must have been horrific.
Well, that's why his neighbour complained originally. Yeah. But like I said, this is how it's going to go. If you think about this is a very, very short thing, we will be doing hour episodes on each of these people eventually.
Yeah.
But this is more, like I say, a shallow grave, not a deep one. So we're not going deep. Anyway, let's talk about our next subject, Mr. Ian Huntley, British, fucking kidnapped two girls.
I remember when this shit popped off.
Dude, like before we even get into it, I remember it, because all I remember is the Manchester United tops on the two girls, Jessica and Holly. And Man United tops, he was always in the news. He was like trying to pretend
he was helping and shit, like.
And
because I started watching one today just to like
refresh your mind.
Like, oh my fucking god!
He was literally on the news with them, trying to help them, and like they went to this warehouse and found it. It's crazy, but
it was they were found in a field actually.
They found a bit of the clothing in this warehouse that he tried to burn down.
Oh, okay, right.
So, but remember the whole Madeleine McCann stuff?
Yeah.
Remember there was that one guy who was super like, because when I watched the documentary, they stuck to this guy, didn't they? Because he was helping all the reporters and he was trying to be really helpful.
Oh, okay.
And they use that as like a criminal profile. Yeah. So like one of the profiles they have for people is like, if they're really helpful and they want, like, they're always around the scene, they're sort of a suspect. So yeah, Ian Huntley. He's basically someone who was evil, hidden in plain sight, known as the Soho murderer. Soham, sorry. Not Soho, that's London. Soham. That's in Leicester, isn't it?
It's Grimsby way.
It's
that's
up
north.
Up north, lad, up north. So Huntley's crimes come to a shock an entire community and left a lasting impact on the nation. That was pretty good.
Huntley's heinous acts took the lives of two innocent young girls, Holly Wells and Jessica Chapman. The shock and horror of their abduction and murder sent shockwaves through the country as the search for the girls captivated the nation. Yeah,
I mean, like you say, it is shocking.
And if there is like anyone that hasn't looked this up, there's a
documentary, isn't there?
There is, yeah.
It's on
Britain's Most Evil Killers.
Yeah,
there's an episode on there of like what he'd done, and like, because
we don't get a lot of them either. Like don't get a lot of like killers. In England we don't get a lot of serial killers or anything like that. So it was really shocking. Yeah, like it was like sort of stuff you're like, wow, that only happens in America. You know, yeah. You don't like it. It just doesn't happen here. That's what's crazy. So basically, let's think about it. He went down a really dark path. You know, he had a troubled past to events like his wife and all. There was a lot that happened. But we're going to try and understand the mind of it and all that sort of stuff. So what we'll do is we'll skip down and we'll just talk about this. We'll just skip that.
Yeah.
Ian Kevin Huntley was born on January the 31st, one day after me. Whoops, I'm January 30th. In 1974 in Grimsby, Lincolnshire. His upbringing was marked by instability and a troubled family dynamic, which had a profound impact on his development.
Growing up Huntley displayed troubling behaviour patterns, including a fascination with fire setting and tendency to manipulate those around him. The early signs hinted at darkness that would later consume him.
So, in August 2002, Ian Huntley was working as a caretaker at Soham Village College, where Holly and Jessica were students. It was within the walls of this seemingly safe environment that his sinister intentions would be unleashed.
On the 4th of August 2002, Holly Wells and Jessica Chapman went missing, sparking a massive search effort that gripped the nation. The entire community rallied together.
Railed together. That's what we call a swingers party.
Hoping for their safe return.
But that's the thing. Like, it seriously did bring the nation together.
It did.
So much like McCann.
Yeah.
It's so similar. Like, the fucking milk bottles, the stickers on people's windscreens on their cars, the doors. Do you remember all of that shit? Did it for Madeleine McCann, but they did it all for
I remember the Madeleine McCann one. I can't remember the thing.
It's fucking nuts. But behind the closed doors, Ian Huntley harboured a dark secret. He had lured the girls into his home, where he took their lives in cold, calculated manner. The details of their abduction and murder are truly, truly horrifying.
The revelation of Huntley's true nature sent shockwaves through the community. The loss of Holly and Jessica was a devastating blow, and the nation mourned the loss of these two innocent lives.
So this is why we don't let Jamie talk.
I know. Hey, you guys.
Hey, you guys. The subsequent investigation into Huntley and the trial shed light on the depths of Huntley's deception. He attempted to manipulate the narrative, even falsely implicating others in the crimes he committed.
The trial, which took place in 2003, garnered widespread media attention. The nation watched as the evidence against Huntley was presented, detailing the chilling extent of his crimes.
In December of 2003, Ian Huntley was found guilty of the murders of Holly Wells and Jessica Chapman. He was sentenced to life imprisonment with a minimum term of 40 years, ensuring that he would never walk free again.
The case of Ian Huntley serves as a haunting reminder of the darkness that can reside within individuals. It highlights the importance of vigilance and awareness in our communities to protect the innocent and prevent further tragedies.
So yeah, when we think about this, with the Ian Huntley thing, as much as like we're talking about like serial killers and stuff like this, he wasn't a serial killer.
No,
but he was like his wife. He
Maxine,
manipulated his wife.
Maxine Carr, I want to say.
Yes, yeah. So
it was Maxine Carr. Yeah,
he was super manipulative.
She's out now. She's out and about.
Yeah, because what did she like have to do with it? Because didn't he say she had loads and?
Well, she basically. I think she like covered it up for him.
She sucked him off so much. She was in love with him, wasn't she? She
was
proper,
like, yeah, it was. But now she's got like that's what pisses me off with this shit as well.
False name,
false name,
address, yeah.
Fucking like literally come out as a new person. They should fucking have a barcode on their head for the rest of their fucking lives, or a QR fucking code to say, look,
just like nonces,
yeah,
and pedos and all that shit. Like these people, they get this free identity and they get the
and
new.
That fucks me off.
It annoys me as well
because that's our fucking money.
Yeah, taxpayers' money, isn't it? Like the crazy thing is though with this guy is like, it was more how he like. Not even how he killed them. No. It was more the surroundings around it, like his mental state, how he was so cocky and like brave and
like, and you know what fucked them up, didn't you? Like how they got caught.
Go on.
Well, it was Maxine Carr because they were like, because he was one of the last people to see her.
Yeah.
And they kept doing interviews, but Maxine Carr, when she spoke, she got on and spoke about them in the past tense.
Yes, yeah.
So that's how
they started piecing it together.
And then that's when they come into questioning.
Mm-hmm.
But I actually read up about it as well earlier today, like, because they moved to Soham from like Grimsby.
And he had prior.
Like, he should never, like, he had prior with underage girls. And it turns out the caretaker of, that school where he was the caretaker of, they didn't do full background checks.
And isn't that part of the reason why they're such big background checks now? Am I right?
I'm not sure on that, but yeah, it was.
So what you've got to understand is like this guy has previous with like being weird with children.
Mm-hmm.
He's then hired as a caretaker at a school. This is the school they went to. And
because Maxine Carr was the teacher.
Yeah, and
or a summing assistant, and the girls were very familiar with Maxine.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Come in, she's here."
Yeah, and lured him in, just a fucking vile creature. And the thing,
can you imagine that? Can you imagine that being your kid, like 9, 10 years old, like? Because what happened was, I think the parents of them, or something like they were having a party or something around their house, or something along them lines.
They wanted to go get,
and they wanted to go and get some sweets.
Yeah.
So, and then when the parents went up to check at like 8:30 at night, they wasn't there, and but yeah, he was also like there were in Grimsby, there were allegations of him being a raper as well.
And the thing is, like, with all of this as well, is like, back then, I know it was only 20 years ago, but it's very much, England's a very small place, so if you use
but it's one of them that you remember. Like, I remember it's like the 9/11. You remember
it's a mass event because it was so portrayed by the news. But the thing with all of this sort of shit is, it's far enough back that the police, although they should have, they didn't have that link between counties and shit like that.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's much like Ted Bundy and Dahmer, all these people. If they would, when they were causing these murders and stuff, if they would have moved to a different state, the records of what they'd done previously would not have been shared state to state. And it was exactly, and it was
the communication wasn't there.
And so even back then, I know it was only 2002, but I can imagine the communication just wasn't there like it is today.
Yeah, well, you can imagine like DNA only come in really in 95, I think it was.
Yeah, and it was very, very like
basic.
Yeah. So, and also the thing with the one positive to come out of the Ian Huntley situation is there are tighter checks on like people who work around schools, and I think it serves for people of our generation like to be more like, we wouldn't have done what they would have done after hearing it. Do you know what I mean? We wouldn't have gone into some random person's house. Like, you know, it sort of, it's a marker of what not to do as a child.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
I think the problem is now, other than the Madeleine McCann thing, which again was so long ago, we don't hear about this anymore on the news. Like, there's no big cases. So kids nowadays, I think they're falling back into the trap where if their friend's uncle's sister said, do you want to come in and grab a chocolate bar? They fucking would. And that's a scary, scary thing.
But then again, you do have the whole social media shit that you'd be fucking... most people would be caught pretty... I like to hope and think pretty quick.
Yeah, I think I want to touch on this at the end anyway. We'll make a note of it actually, like... try to remember this. When we get to the end, I do want to discuss two things. One is, why do we not have serial killers now? Mm-hmm. And the second one is women's obsession with them. So I've got to remember to talk about that.
Yeah,
it's a very, very good point. So that's Ian Huntley. Do you have do you want to say anything else left about this lovely, horrendous gentleman?
No, I'm just glad that he is being kicked the fuck out of in jail,
like a lot,
cut up, and all that good shit.
Didn't like Bronson put something out to somebody that he was going to fuck him up as well?
I don't know.
I think, if I remember correctly, he did. So another man we're going to talk about today is Mr. Teddy. I don't know if it's Ted or Theodore. I think it was Theodore Bundy.
Was it
Theodore? I believe so. Ted Bundy, the good. People said he was a good-looking, clever man who turned the wrong way, and I think even
he was actually really smart. If
I remember at the juror, not the juror, the fucking judge.
He represented himself. Didn't
he represented himself, and the judge at the end, essentially, not word for word because I can't remember what he said word for word, but said, "It's such a shame that you turned to this way because I would have loved for you to be working with me."
Yeah.
Essentially. Like, he was a brilliant man. Take it away.
So, Ted Bundy, one of the most notorious serial killers in America's history. Bundy's charm and intelligence masked his true nature, and he preyed upon vulnerable young women.
Bundy's crimes spanned multiple states, leaving a trail of fear and despair in his wake. His ability to blend into society and manipulate others only added to the horror of his actions.
Bundy's twisted psychology, exploring the factors that contributed to his fascination into a cold-blooded killer. From his troubled childhood to his violent fantasies, he will unravel the
intricate
that led to his reign of terror.
So Bundy was an intelligent and charming individual, which allowed him to... Mate, I've lost my notes.
That's all right. It allowed him...
Go on,
he excelled academically and was known for his charisma, which would later become a key aspect of his modus operandi.
He's got it. Bundy's charm was a central component of his ability to lure and prey upon his victims. He would often impersonate an authority figure, such as a police officer or a firefighter, to gain their trust.
His modus operandi involved approaching young women, usually college students, and injury of or need for assistance. Once he gained their trust, he would overpower and abduct them, often using violence.
So, on a note on that one as well, is the what he would do is he was so smart and calculated. He was a good-looking geezer,
yeah,
and he knew the one thing that women like the most about a man.
Gory.
Good looks, gory. Other than good looks and just being a smart person, he knew how to lie. He knew how to manipulate, and the way he would do this is pretend he was injured. So one of the women he actually kidnapped.
I can't remember this fully.
He put his arm in a sling, and would be like, "Oh, can you help me with my shopping to my car?" and get chatting to them.
Oh, right.
And that's how it would go. Bundy's crimes escalated in brutality over time. He would often sexually assault and murder his victims, sometimes even engaging in acts of necrophilia.
One chilling aspect of Bundy's modus operandi was his ability to blend in with the society. He appeared to be an upstanding and charismatic individual, which made it difficult for his victim to suspect any danger.
The intense media attention surrounding Bundy's case began in the 1970s, when he was first arrested. The media coverage only grew as more details about his crimes emerged, captivating the nation.
Bundy's trials in 1979 was a media spectacle. He acted as his own defense attorney, using his charm and charisma to manipulate the courtroom and even cross-examine witnesses. Which is fucking insane when he was doing that shit.
I think it was one of the first court cases that was the media attention was so big on it. It was definitely one of those. And also the fact that he was allowed to represent himself. Again, I think it was the first time. And he gained so much from that. We'll get to it, but he fucking escaped the courtroom. All this sort of shit is nuts. He was on the run and he killed more people. But we'll get to that. The trial drew massive public attention, with crowds gathering outside the courthouse and media outlets providing round-the-clock coverage. It became a cultural phenomenon, shedding light on the horrors of Bundy's crimes.
Also, Bundy was found guilty and sentenced to death for the murder of 2 women in Florida. However, his case did not end there, as he managed to escape from custody not once but twice. Fucking hell.
Yeah, the media, the forensics surrounding Bundy reached its peak during his second escape in 1978. His image was plastered across the newspapers and television screens nationwide, sparking fear and intrigue among the public.
Bundy's recapture and subsequent
Bundy. He was essentially a very clever guy who used his charm, his good looks, his charisma to essentially get to girls who were in school and college students. He would break into their dorms and he would fuck them up. And when I say fuck them up, he was violent and vicious. He was caught through biting, so it was his bite mark.
Oh, right.
Bit their ass cheek, and they used dental records, and he had a chipped tooth, and that's how they got him.
Hell.
And essentially, the thing with Bundy was we'll go into all of this in more detail, but he'd kill them, he'd take them, he'd bury them in the woods. He would then visit the woods later on to fuck the bodies again.
Yeah, he'd bury fucking dig them back up.
He would cut their heads off and fuck their heads. He was a savage, and it was there was so much media around it. If you watch him, he's so intriguing. And he
doesn't look like that type of guy.
Doesn't sound or look like it. You'd never guess it. And he is the first one where the women were wet. He's the first guy where women were like, "Oh, I love you." right into him.
Really?
I fucking love you, right into this murderer, because it was something that enamored all of them. And he had like wives and girlfriends and all shit from prison. He started fucking someone who would visit him and all. It's nuts what he got away with. And he did die in the electric chair. One of his, I think his famous last words, I can't remember what they were, but it was something evil. It was something evil.
One small step for a man.
But the guy himself was a fucking, he was nuts. He killed over 15 people.
No, it was 30, I want to say,
It's
but
what's confirmed. So what he did is he tried to use his killings to stay alive longer, to prolong his death sentence. He'd be like, I know where this body is. He'd give them little tips here and there, so they keep.
But is this the one where they actually think it's more like 100 bodies, or is that that is Bundy?
Not.
Because they said they believe
he said he did 100, but he was also known as a guy who would big himself up and make himself sound more evil and like than he actually was,
just to get more time.
Yeah, exactly that. So. And he tried to blame it on porn, so the porn industry went downhill from there because he tried to blame it on dirty magazines and all this. Like his whole defense was, I watched porn and it was gruesome, essentially. In reality,
yeah.
So
in a way that sort of does make sense.
Porn now, because porn's ruthless now. Yeah. I love it. Like,
it's making my toes curl. Right, next one then. Let's go. This is the guy that I really don't know a lot about.
So our next subject.
I've had a little breeze over this guy.
He was known as the Grey Man and the Werewolf of Wisteria, Albert Fish, and he is the true embodiment of evil. His crimes were as gruesome as they were shocking.
Fish's sadistic acts including torture, manipulation and cannibalism of his victims, particularly targeting children. His depravity knew no bounds, and his disturbing letters to the families of his victims only added to the horror.
We will explain the depths of Albert Fish's disturbed mind, examining the possible psychological factors behind his monstrous actions. From his childhood traumas to his twisted beliefs, we'll attempt to understand the mind of Albert Fish.
Albert Fish is considered one of the most depraved and sadistic serial killers in history. Let's start by delving into his early life and the background.
So, Hamilton Howard Albert Fish was born on May the 19th in 1870 in Washington, D.C. His early life was marked by tragedy and hardship as he experienced physical and sexual abuse at the hands of his own family members.
These early traumas had profound impact on Fish's psyche as he developed a deep fascination with
sadomasochism.
What's it called?
Sadomasochism.
Yeah, whatever that one is.
Like dominatrix shit. Severe dominatrix shit.
Cannibalism and other extreme forms of violence.
Fish's crimes were disturbing and brutal. He targeted vulnerable children, often preying on those who were orphaned or came from impoverished backgrounds.
Fish's modus operandi involved gaining the trust of his victims' families before luring the children away. He would often pose as a harmless and kind figure, using false names and disguise to avoid suspicion.
So once he had the children in his clutches, Fish would subject them to unspeakable acts of torture, mutilation and cannibalism. His sadistic tendency knew no bounds.
The media attention surrounding Fish's case was intense, especially during his trial in 1935. The details of his crimes shocked and horrified the public, causing outrage and fear.
Fish's trial shed light on the depths of his depravity. He showed no remorse for his actions, even going so far to describe his cannibalistic desires and claiming to have killed and consumed several children.
The media coverage of Fish's trial was extensive, with newspapers reporting on the shocking and graphic testimony. His case became a sensationalized spectacle, captivating the nation.
Despite his attempts to plead insanity, Fish was found guilty and sentenced to death. His execution by electric chair on January the 16th of 1936 marked the end of his reign of terror. A lot of this shit's happening in January. I'm not feeling the fact that I was born in January right now.
The case of Albert Fish remains one of the most disturbing and chilling in the criminal history.
Albert Fish is known to have confessed to the murder of at least 3 children, although he claimed to have killed many more. His victims were primarily young boys, but he also targeted girls. Fish used various methods of torture, including strangulation, dismemberment, beating, stabbing with needles and knives, and cannibalism. He derived pleasure from inflicting pain and suffering on his victims. Fish would often write letters to the families of his victims detailing the acts he had committed.
That is fucking insane.
Apart from his murders, Fish was involved in other criminal activities such as theft and child molestation. He was arrested in 1934 and convicted of the abduction and murder of Grace Budd. And that is it. The only thing he got convicted for.
Oh, the girl?
Yeah. Which is mad, because this guy...
that was his first victim, though, wasn't it?
Yeah. So this guy, I'm remembering a podcast.
I read that the way he lured her, because he was going to go for the two other lads, yeah, but he lured her, one-way ticket,
Yep.
on a train, and basically got to this fucking house, empty house or whatever it was,
Like a cabin
thing. He goes up. He tells her to go outside and pick some flowers and all this shit.
Yep.
He goes up to the first floor, gets naked, calls her in. She's there, starts screaming for mum, and that's it. Gone.
Yeah. So there is one more person that I will want to talk about another day, and we will just go deep on him because he is savage, and his name is Andre Chikatilo. Everybody who's listening, research that guy, because that guy is fucking savage.
Yeah.
He used to put like cotton balls full of petrol up his bum and set him alight while he was like killing people. He's a fucking psychopath. But that's because as a child he was beaten.
Why is that? Just to be a real pain in the ass.
He was a proper firecracker. So yeah, that is. I will apologise about any technical difficulties today.
Also,
but...
another one though, like would be like I like to get into is Fred and Rose West
and the Hindleys. Myra Hindley, she was a savage cunt as well.
Is that the one? Who was that?
I think they were the one who had the trailer in the back garden, and they would like record shit. It was pretty deep. So like I say, it's an overview on serial killers. There's a lot to talk about, and we know it's a massive fascination, and that's one of the reasons we want to do this and understand. The more we talk about them, the more we're going to understand little bits and bobs. Like we were saying earlier about like how nowadays they wouldn't get away with it, like the social media and the thing. So the fact that it's such a big thing is because it won't happen anymore,
and that's got to be half the reason why there isn't that much like popping off anymore is because
the technology.
It would literally fuck them up, because back then there was not a lot.
You can literally leave a speck of dust from one of your bits of clothing at a crime scene. If the crime's that bad and they put the right resources into it, they will find you so easy. There's no getting away from it now. DNA is mad. Crime scene units that they can do, like the analytics and stuff, is crazy. Like the investigations they can perform is like nuts. Facial recognition on any camera close to any property, you know? Like,
but it's also like it is good in a way, but then you've also got like these like detectives and the people doing these cases that are corrupt as well, and will just do it for an easy fucking like
easy buck. Yeah, they get paid off, don't they?
Well, yeah, and what's his name? Netflix documentary, Making a Murderer.
Oh yeah.
Avery.
Yeah,
Stephen Avery.
Yeah.
See,
and the staircase.
And the staircase. Yeah, he was money as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was all. The Making a Murderer one was mad. It's crazy.
So I still think he's innocent.
Yeah, I do. Like he just wasn't clever enough to cover it up as much as he would have if they didn't plant stuff. Like the planting is fact.
Yeah.
Like in the court case, it's obvious. It's factual that stuff was planted. I don't give a fuck.
Like the keys just turning up. Like they've been like searching a fucking. Just the first thing you would see.
Yeah, 100%, no doubt.
And like the whole. What was the other bit that threw me off with that case?
The blood in the car.
Well, not just that.
And the way they found the car.
It was also because it was like right on his yard. Like,
and they'd searched it previously.
Why would you put a car on his fucking yard?
He's not that dumb.
He's not stupid.
Like the bullet hole, like the bullets they found, and where they apparently like burnt her and all.
Yeah,
this
like
shit.
out the front.
Yeah, just cool. Not being funny. Any dumb fuck, any hick can go, I've just killed someone. I'm probably not going to burn them on my property.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I think we said it before on the podcast. Easiest way to kill someone, sorry to say it, but stab them with an icicle. No evidence. Boom. Done. Case closed.
Sounds like you've done this before.
No fingerprints. No, I've seen it on what's that? There was years and years ago. There was a prison show about women, bad girls. So it's on that. It's on that.
Oh, what was his name? Michelle and
I forgot.
oh shit. Oh, my name's Jim Fenner. Fuck, good
Jim
old
Fenner.
Jim Fenner.
Fucking hell, blast from the past, isn't it?
All right, Michelle, you naughty girl.
Fuck me. There's stuff like that on Twitter now. Wandsworth, baby.
Fucking Wandsworth scrubs now. Jesus.
So another thing I want to like sort of touch upon as well is like
The fascination.
the fascination is nuts. Like women are
Why?
obsessed.
Why is it?
So I think that a lot of it is down to
Because it is true. Like even if you look at like
women will watch this
like,
shit going to bed.
That's why. Yeah. That's why there's so much of it on Netflix. Like podcasts and other
I'm the
podcasts do
first
really
person
well.
to listen or watch it.
Yeah,
Though.
we are. And
Like-
why is that? It's because we like to get. Is it because we like to get into the mind of how they were? And
I think because it doesn't happen anymore, it's so fascinating. And women have this deep sense of. Every woman likes to be strangled. Do you know what I'm saying?
daddy issues.
Like not daddy issues, but most women, not every, but if you're making voluptuous love to a woman, voluptuous with me, but if you are having sex, there's not a lot of women who don't want the rough shit.
Yeah.
And I think it's just a sense of they know they can't do it. They know they're not going to be murdered, like obviously, but like there's this sense of like it's I think
Like you 50 Shades of Grey and shit like that. Like,
I think it's the same as
massive kink,
you know when you're on top of a bridge or a massive building, there's that tiny part of your body that wants to jump, no matter who you are.
What?
It's true.
What the fuck are you on about?
It's a fact.
You when you're walking over a bridge, you would like to think.
No, but if you're stood right, if you went to the tallest building, you wouldn't go up there because
I
you're
wouldn't
scared.
go up there 'cause some
But
shit's
if you
going on.
stand next to the ledge, every person who's there's a split second in their mind. They're not saying I will jump, but it's like, what if?
I reckon as you're walking up these stairs, you'll bang your head when you're walking up these stairs because I'm pretty sure I've never had that fucking feeling. What? So you've stood on like fuck me, like I don't know.
No, it's a fact.
You're on the
I've
Twin
heard
Towers
it.
going hello.
I've heard it on another podcast. It's a fact. It was one of Joe Rogan's. He was talking to a doctor, like a fucking mind doctor. It was probably fucking Joe Rogan and fucking Joey Diaz. So there's that. But I think a lot of it is like with women is they all feel a sense of danger their whole life. Because
And you reckon they hold on to that when they're
and I think they watch these things to like everybody likes danger. Do you get that? It's really hard to explain, but danger's exciting.
yeah
Danger is you get an adrenaline rush.
yeah adrenaline rush.
You know, and I think that's what it is. It's a sense of danger, and some women are just fucked. Some women are just nuts. Like all these BDSM women and that would happily let Dahmer beat them to close to death. Do you know what I mean? Well, maybe not Dahmer because he was into the men, but maybe Bundy. But there's a sense of there's something in a woman's mind because it's more women than men.
Yeah, no, I get that, but like with going back to like what we just went over, it's like also like what makes them do that, and it is down to like childhood trauma and shit as well.
Yeah, so Bundy's victims, all of Bundy's victims look the same, and it's because he had his heart broken by a woman who looked like that. Simple.
Right.
He hated women. This woman fucking broke his heart. He hated women, and anyone who looked like her, he wanted to kill. It is.
But what did he actually kill the woman that done that to him?
No,
Which is nuts, isn't it?
it's weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
And
then you got the Dahmer thing where he was just like animal shit.
he was. I think a lot of it came from his parents. If
Yeah,
I'm
his
correct.
parents were like, I think his mum was like a pill popper and a bit alcoholic-y and...
All of their problems got put on him.
Yeah.
His dad left.
And
he suffered from a relationship he didn't have a relationship with his parents, essentially. You know?
he was like put to one side and left to do what he had to do.
Yeah, and obviously back then as well, like you say, being gay and you had to hide it.
That must put a lot of fucking, like, when, like, he got found guilty and shit, like, that must have put a lot of strain on his parents. Why his mum tried to fucking kill herself.
Yeah, and especially, like, you know, me and you are both parents, and whatever Grayson ever did, you'll always love him, like, no matter what, you know, so that's part of it as well.
Yeah.
Like, if Grayson went, like, God forbid, but if Grayson went to school and accidentally fucking dropped a brick on another kid's head or something, like, you wouldn't not love your child for that. If you killed somebody, you'd be disgusted. You wouldn't want anything to do with them, but you'd still love them. You know?
Yeah. Yeah. You don't know because you're not in that position. Do you know what I mean?
It's so hard to always, like...
You can't think like that. Because,
be on the outside looking in, isn't it? Yeah. It's super hard.
You will hopefully never ever know. Touch wood.
Touch wood, yeah. Don't know. I'm a bit of a weirdo. But, like, it's the same with the ghost thing as well. Like, we said, like, we talk about all this shit, but until something happens, you never ever know. You know? It's the same with most of the things we've spoken about. Like, until something happens, we will never know. Aliens, we like to think, oh yeah, they're here and da-da-da. But if you've seen one, how are you going to act?
Yeah.
You never will know because unless it happens. And it's the same thing. So
because you always play them scenarios in your head, like, if I seen one...
Oh, yeah, when you're driving in the dark and you're like, oh, imagine if I seen a UFO, what would I do?
Yeah.
You know? And you're like, yeah, no, it's crazy. But
especially like driving on your own and one just fucking, do you know what I mean?
Oh, merge dying out.
Car starts cutting out, your Tesla's not fucking... I say Tesla, Nissan Micra there. It's alright, we got a blowing exhaust for people here. Fuck it.
But I will say, to like sort of to finish on as well, not so much end on, but like as an overview as well, as I think as much as having all of this shit happen is terrible and all the victims' families, like obviously probably a lot of them aren't alive now, but like thoughts that go out to like anyone who goes for anything like that. But the fact that these people have been there and done what they've done has improved the future in a sense of we now know what to look for. Yeah. You know, Mindhunters, amazing. The series, right? Where they...
I haven't seen it.
Netflix, watch it. It's called Mindhunters. They interview serial killers and they try and build it's where
a database of them, right?
Okay. Of how it happened, what happened.
Right.
So it's based on true stories. It's the term serial killer was made, and all of this. And what they do is they interview your Charles Mansons, your what's the guy? The big fuck off guy. He was massive, like 8 foot, 7 foot something. Wham! Killed his mum, shagged her in the mouth, all this sort of stuff. Weird guy. They interview him, and this guy, I forgot his name, but he was so talkative to police and detectives and stuff. They managed to build portfolios of serial killers and find out what a modus operandi is, and all of this.
I've actually got pretty good at saying that at the end. A modus operandi.
So what they do is they built this massive portfolio of serial killers. They spoke to all of them, and then they helped solve so many murderers and cases, because they would go, right, this kid was 16 years old, blonde hair, white, and he was killed in this area. They dumped his body here. They'd done all of this, and this would suggest this would suggest that. This is the profile we've built. He could be a 32-year-old white male who is in this type of job and has previous of this. And it would narrow down the search so much, and it would help them solve the case. So, good series to watch. They're coming out of a new season, and I can't fucking wait. It's really fucking good. So, everybody listening, watch that shit. Anything else?
No.
Anything else from you?
I think that was actually pretty decent.
It was interesting. Interesting to actually...
And that was episode 20. That was fucking 20 weeks deep.
20 weeks deep. 20 weeks deep into fucking Ted Bundy's murder holes. Yeah, I mean, 20 episodes. I'm happy with that. I'm proud. I'm glad we stuck to it, because the first 10 was hard work. You know,
it was a bit all over the place.
Yeah,
that was it. Like, it was just going to be like originally talking shit, but it got a bit samey. I think
we just took it serious.
And like now, I think we've got a bit more structure to it. So and we're always fucking learning.
That's what I was going to say.
Like, we are always learning. So like, with like listeners giving us feedback, we take that on board as well. We are deadly serious with like the feedback that we get.
Yeah.
So any feedback that good or bad. Like we're more than happy to listen to it because we want to improve.
Yeah.
What we're doing.
Yeah, because the thing is, like,
because I enjoy it. Like I'd do it with even if it was one listener. Or fucking,
literally what I was about to say.
I don't give a fuck. I quite enjoy doing it.
It's like,
that's why I'm stuck to it.
Albert Fish today, you would not have ever known who that guy is, and now you're going to go home and look up who he is and find out, and then learn shit.
Yeah.
And it's cool because we come from two different perspectives, really, and I think this is so. A bit of background is probably this is our first proper structured episode. Scripted. We've ripped shit down.
Yeah.
We've read out what we wrote down. We've done our research. We've made notes. We've done all of this, and we've read out what we actually wrote down.
Yeah.
And as much as it sounds, maybe it sounds more like we're reading off something.
Yeah.
But the information is going to be 10 times better. But we're always going to try and chime in with that extra.
What we're
thinking at the point. Because we're reading out what we've written down, but we're not saying what we're like.
Not processing
what we're thinking.
it as
we're
such,
not writing down the funny stuff. We're not, all that sort of shit. So I hope you enjoy it, and I hope it's getting better. But any feedback is welcomed. You can just literally message us on Instagram, Facebook, email us at breezeandbants@gmail.com. Check us out on any social network. Basically, we're on all platforms. So Breeze and Bants on YouTube, Twitter, YouTube, X, Facebook, Instagram, Podbean, TikTok, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, like all of it. And yeah, like I say, any feedback, but please like, rate, review all that and share it because Facebook's a fucking dickhead for sharing.
In a minute.
And we may ramble a bit at the end, but I like to get through it all and then just chat as well, because it's cool to like keep people, I guess, who are listening up to date with like how we're like feeling about it all as well, and be as transparent.
Yeah, like with that fucking Facebook shit, that's well annoying because you're like posting it, I'm trying to share it, and it doesn't let you share it.
So it doesn't let you share.
And it's like, fuck, we being like
shadow banned. I think TikTok's been shadow banned. I can't lie. Put something up about Area 51. The views went from over 1,000 down to 200. Swear to God. I don't know what's going on TikTok, but sort it out, brev. So what would actually help us more is if you just shared the episode directly instead of sharing our posts. So if you're listening to this, please share it on any socials. It goes mad. And also, let us know what you think of the new process of how we're uploading shorts and reels. You know? Like you like checking yourself out.
No, I was just about to say about your new Mystic Moment stuff. I just wanted to give that a massive shout out.
This is is the moon landing real or fake? You know, there's a man on the moon digging with a pickaxe. It's a Temu special.
Okay.
It was like £6, so I'm not gonna moan too much. And I think the artwork's quite cool.
Fair enough.
Get me back to Mystic Moments. I'm here to make some amazing candles, bath salts. Right, that is it. Over and out. We're done. Check us out on all the socials. Email us any advice, criticism. Make it constructive. Don't be like, oh, Joshua, you're a prick. I know that.